What's going on, everybody? Well, hang on. Sorry, we had a little mix up there. I'm using a different camera today. Welcome to the Dylan Talks Tone Just Gonna Say It podcast on Tuesday afternoon at 4 p.m. Eastern. We do this every week. Thanks for coming and hanging out. We'll get into the subject matter in a minute. You can see that the background looks a little bit differently because we are moving this week. And so, so for those of you that don't know, we closed on a house last week and we are in the process of moving. And so things are packed up, guitars are in cases, things are off of walls, and things start going to the new house tomorrow. So I'm really excited. For those of you that are Patreon supporters and YouTube members, I've been trying to share some update videos with you. I didn't do it today. I did it yesterday. I'll do another one tomorrow. And then hopefully tomorrow evening, I'm going to just take you on the Patreon anyway. And for YouTube members on a little tour around the new place and show you what we're doing, because it's going to completely up the entire game on Dylan Talks Tone as far as the business itself, pickup, winding and all that kind of stuff, as well as video production and various things like that. So it's super exciting. I'm really excited about 2024. You that have known me personally, you'll know that I've been talking about this in 2024. So I'm really excited about it. And this is a huge step towards better production, more products, wider product offerings at Dylan Talks Tone, better video production. We're bringing on some more help. Like, it's really going to be super cool. Production times are going to stabilize. We don't do too bad with production times. We're going to stabilize those even a little bit more. Various things like that. Just really, really, really fun stuff. So I'm super, super stoked. And when y'all see the new look of the new place and what we're going to be able to do there, because I'm more than doubling, like tripling my square footage just for work stuff. So it's going to be really cool. I'm really excited. Leslie's going to have her own office too, so she won't be in the kitchen anymore, which is great. So a lot of really cool things going on around here. I did want to mention that if you are a Patreon or YouTube supporter, we did a thing where we did our live Zoom hangout last night, and we left it open. Usually it's for like the highest tier on Patreon and YouTube members. But last night we left that one open for every person that's a member from $5 on up, just so you could kind of get a feel for what it is. So if you missed it live, the replay is uploaded. I uploaded the replay for YouTube and Patreon members. So check that out for sure. You're gonna dig that. Keep an eye out over there, obviously, for some new content that's going to come up this week, because we are actually going to, like I said, I'm going to share you some of the move and the new shop and stuff. And then also we have some new apparel over on Dylan Talks Tone. The Player Die t-shirt. We got a new hat, and we got our new Sustain Brothers t-shirt. So I think you are going to dig that very much. I'm really excited. It's really cool. In the interest of making everything better, you guys have no idea. We're going to get into this just here in a minute, but why is I dropped it the other day. That's why it's scratched. You guys have no idea how excited I've been since this weekend when I posted the thumbnail for this video. A lot of folks on Facebook, and mostly on Facebook, maybe some people on YouTube too, were like, why are you bringing negative stuff? Why are you talking about negative stuff again? Why are you whatever? That's not what this is about at all. I'm really excited to have a conversation with you all, because we're really trying to make things better. And I think sometimes, and different, and be different. We're really trying to do things differently than, I am not a YouTuber, so I make videos. I make a lot of videos. But really, I make pickups. That's what I do. And so that's, that's what we do here. We make that stuff. And so I'm really stoked to have a conversation with you about the things that could make this whole thing better, to grow the audience. I want to get over 100,000 subscribers this year, which means we have like 6,000 more to go. So I really want to do that. And I want to share what we do with more people in a positive way. In amongst that, obviously, there is criticism and there is improvement. And that's one of the things we want to do. I'm just so you know, I write in a journal every day. And I've been writing and thinking about this a lot. Criticism and improvement. And I am very driven right now to make things better. And so I made this post on Facebook and on YouTube, on the YouTube feed. And I encouraged everyone to tell me what they thought we could change, or what they didn't like about me or the channel that we could change. And I've got some really good stuff. Some of the stuff I'm not going to change at all, because I feel very strongly about some things that I do on this channel that are different, that I really value. And even on those things, though, I want to have a conversation with you about it so that we have a better understanding of each other. One of the things I think happens with YouTube and any social media really is that it's sort of a one-way street, where the creator makes, me being the, I just made my camera move again. Dang it. I did this last night too. Something happens where, come on, you jerk. Here we go. Sorry, this thing messed up a little bit. Something happens with people that watch YouTube stuff. They put a certain responsibility that I don't think is really fair on someone who makes content. You got to remember that we are just people with cameras, right? So the only difference between me and you is that I've hit the upload button 1,300 times. That does not make me any kind of expert. Now, of course, I do know some stuff about some things, but also that does not preclude me from ever stopping learning. And so spending this time and chatting with you about all this stuff is really just this learning experience. And so I'm really, 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 really excited to share this with you. So what I'm going to do is we're going to take the time and do this. And if it takes over an hour, or if it takes however long it takes, we're going to go through this and we're going to chat about it, because I feel that we could make some improvements. And I also feel that we could come to an understanding on stuff that maybe I don't necessarily want to change, that I like about what we do around here. But if you have a better understanding of why I do it and what the principles behind what drive us are around here, maybe that would help also. Two-way street. You know what I'm saying? So as much as a bunch of people said it's none of your business what other people think on Facebook and on YouTube, I appreciate you and I understand exactly why you say that. And I agree. But this is for the purpose of being constructive. So first one, and I'm not going to mention names here. We're not going to throw any shade on anybody, none of that kind of stuff. First one said, while I enjoy a lot of your content, I think you have a tendency to be a bit abrasive. I kind of feel that you should do you, but you asked, so that's what I see. Okay, so I'm a person who really believes that words matter. Okay, so if you say something, that you should understand the definition of what that means. And so we're going to look this up. Abrasive, a person or manner showing little concern for the feelings of others. This, just so you know, this is principally not me at all. I really care about people. I really love people. People will say that, well, that's just people on the internet. Well, that's just people. And sometimes, like even my daughter, she'll say, I really hate people. And I'm like, no, you don't hate people. You hate douchey people, right? Like, and you don't even hate those people. They're just the people that annoy you. Be able to feel and see and hear that nuance, right? In your own statements when you say that. If I come across abrasive a lot of times, usually it's because there are circumstances where I can tell by something the way a person says a comment, that they're not there for a constructive manner. And so if you're not there to be constructive, if you're just there to be a troll, I'm going to call that out. And I'll tell you why. Because there's no point in having it in the community. Now, some people would say ignore it. And most of the time I do. However, when it attacks the spirit of the community and it could spread an effect to the community, or if somebody's saying something against somebody else, you can say all you want about me. You can say anything negative you want about me, and I totally don't care. And we're going to get into that statement in a few minutes too. But if you say something about somebody else in the community, if you start talking trash about somebody else's guitar gear or somebody else's guitar playing or whatever, that's where I have enough, because that's a negativity we don't need around here. You know what I mean? And I'll be very outspoken about that. And most of the time when I'm abrasive about something, two things are usually true. One is, it's because I don't need you around here. If you're going to be like that, you can just pound sand. You can get out of here. I don't care. I don't need your money. I don't need your views. I just don't need it. You don't need to be around here if you're going to be like that. Number one, that's one thing, because I feel very strongly about that we all can be positive inspirations to the community. And if you just don't want to be that person, if you want to be a troll, just go. I don't care. We don't need it. And then the other thing where it becomes a problem is because if I say something that you disagree with, that's okay. But I'm not attacking you. If I'm never attacking a person, never once, unless they are the person we just talked about. I'm never attacking your gear. I'm never attacking your choices for your guitar playing or anything. Now, I might make jokes about it. I'm going to make an Epiphone joke. I'm going to make a Harley Benton joke. If you take that personally, do some inner thinking about that, because I'm not attacking you. We're all just sitting around, we're talking about guitar stuff and we're having fun. If you don't think it's funny, that's okay. That's totally fine. But I'm not attacking you, and I am definitely not intentionally being abrasive. So it's just kind of an understanding of each other, because if you are honest with yourself, stuff is funny. If you feel attacked by it, then you're taking it too personally, right? We all do that from time to time. So just think about that some. Let's see. There was a few people that brought up the whole thing about me flipping knives and how they didn't like it and they won't watch me because I flip knives around my wife and stuff. I've actually looked into this. I actually have gone to people's profiles, seen where they're from, and usually the folks that don't like the fact that I have a knife obsession, and we're going to call it that, I'm going to own it, are from countries where it's not as available, or you may feel there may be some other geopolitical or some other social aspect of weapons in general, where it's less acceptable where you live. The majority of the folks that have given me a hard time about that are from those places. And to those people, I would just say, just know that there's nothing, we just see things differently here. And it's not, I really love the engineering of them. And people were bothered that I do it around my wife. Well, just so you know, my wife has her own collection of automatic switchblades and firearms and all the things. Like, she has a whole collection too. So she's not offended by it. She has all those things as well. Her theme is knives with purple handles and black blades. That's her theme. So she actually, and she has some Zippo lighters, and she has some, firearm stuff. It's just all kinds of stuff. So, and her firearm theme is rose gold and black. Like, she has a whole thing. So, if you think that that's offensive to her or somehow, just know that it's not. And one of the things I would say in general about anything that you see here on the channel or wonder about, if you ever have the urge to make an assumption about me or Leslie, about what we do or what we think or anything, don't do that. Literally ask the question. In fact, for those of you that know, and you come on Thursday nights and you hang out for the off-topic hour, you know that we always say, ask whatever you want and we will probably answer it. Put us on the spot. I don't care. We want to get to know you beyond just the guitar nerdery of life so that you understand who we are and what drives us and why we love this, why we love what we do. But that also surrounds us, not just the guitar stuff. So I just wanted to say that. Somebody said that it seems like you seem to live for camera time, almost as if time on screen is going to fill a void or compensate for other shortcomings. That's an interesting observation. To tell you the honest truth, I feel neither here nor there about being on camera. I can do it because I've done it for years and I've been public speaking since I was a young person. I've been on television since I was a kid. My dad worked for PBS. I was on Sesame Street when I was a kid. So I don't have to be on camera. In fact, there are many days where it's a very big struggle for me to get in front of the camera. And I have to kind of put myself in a zone to be on camera. People don't realize this about Leslie and I, but we are both very introverted. And I will be the quiet person over on the side of a room where everybody else is having fun and I will just observe. That's usually my personality. Yes, I'm very outgoing on camera and I'm very direct and I do have a very direct personality, but I will tell you that once the camera turns off, I'm exhausted and I have to go take a nap. Like it's literally, I don't live for this, but I do realize that it's very important to the guitar community and it's very important to my business. And so it sort of drives me to do it. But sometimes it's like I have to sit down with a Post-it note and be like, oh, okay, what are my next 3 videos going to be about? Because I have no idea right now and I am not driven to do this. So it's not an ego or a compensation thing as much as it is just, I mean, I've just been doing it so long. And I do enjoy it, but to tell you the truth, I enjoy the editing and the production side more than being on camera. I would rather shoot somebody else on camera and edit everything than be on camera myself. That's really the case. So it's not really an ego driven thing or anything. I have nothing to do. I don't really care about any of that. Let's see. Let me just scroll down through here. I've noticed that you bring up these people quite frequently and by saying people in the comments are saying, man, forget those people. I would say, and a lot of people brought this up, like, why are you bringing up negativity in the comments? I believe that everybody equally deserves a voice as long as they're not being hateful. And even hateful people, we need to identify who those people are. So if you're going to be hateful in the comments, do it so I can block you and you don't have to be in my life anymore. At least I know who you are and that you're a jerk. For everybody else, everybody deserves a voice, man. You deserve to have an opinion. You deserve to enjoy, even if I disagree with you or even if you're, kind of a jerk about it, I am too sometimes, right? That's why we're here talking about this stuff. So I really, I respect people because if they have an opinion, here's the thing that's important to me. You can have an opinion, but if I ask you, and this is where a lot of the, let's see here. Somebody said, my wife says you sound very condescending. I think it's just you speaking with authority. Okay. So let's look up this word and talk about this because this kind of goes along with this. Showing or implying a usually patronizing descent from dignity or superiority. Okay. Usually that's because people think they're right and everybody else is wrong and that you're talking down to a person. So I want to hear your opinion, even if it disagrees with me. I want to hear that. People don't realize that. They don't agree. Everybody's like, don't put your opinion in the comments because he's going to blah, blah. No, put your opinion in the comments. However, here's the challenge. This is where your personal agency and your personal responsibility as a viewer comes in. And as a human being, really, if you have an opinion, and I challenge you on it, because I will, because if you say, I think you're wrong and here's why, if the here's why is based on some guy at a music store told me, and not on an actual fact, I'm going to challenge that because I want to know what the truth is. The condescending part and being right, I don't have to be right. Okay. However, because the internet very often wants you to be accurate and challenges accuracy, I really go out of my way to not be wrong. Not because I have to be right all the time, but because I don't want to be inaccurate. Misinformation, as we all know, is like the bane of existence right now. It's for many, many people. And having accurate information that you can rely on is really hard to get, right? And so I feel very strongly that if I'm going to do the research to make sure that I'm right about something, now, if I find out that I'm wrong, that's totally fine. And we have done correction videos. Usually we do it in a live stream and say, hey, I was wrong about this. I missed this fact on this video. Hey, I missed a spec on a video, blah, 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 that kind of stuff. Totally cool with doing that. But I will challenge you too, because if you're telling me I'm not right, then show me. I need to know. So I'm not necessarily being condescending because I'm not talking down to you, but I am challenging you. I want to know. I want to know. Not because I want to be right, but because I want to know. If I'm wrong, I want to correct it. It's a matter of growth for me. I want to constantly be learning. And that's really important to me, like principally very important to me. Something different. If enlarging a pickup hole, is there a trick to cutting on a pickup cover, filing? No, I mean, just be careful, and use sharp tools and use sharp files. That's what I would say. That's what I would say about that. Check. Okay, cool. I bumped the microphone. I need to get this cable has got a bad connector in it. Let's see. Let me just make sure that we've got everything on here. Because I think that is just about it. Oh, this is the other thing. And I want to bring this up too. And this is, again, an invitation. Okay. This is not a challenge. Obviously, it's an invitation. I love knives, but the name of your page is Talks Tone and not Talks Knives. So I think you should stay on the subject a bit more and open a separate page for people who have signed up to see your knives collection. I have a really, I'm very, Leslie and I talk about this all the time, not just here, but with our friends, with our family, with everything. We have a very strong belief that when you meet a person, if you are going to really know them and they're going to be in your life, that you should know the whole person. And so it's not that I'm necessarily trying to distract from guitar stuff, but I want to be friends with you. I want to know you, and I want you to know who I am. I want you to know everything that I can safely and comfortably share with you on the internet. And some of those things are my other hobbies. And so I just feel very strongly that relationship-based businesses do better than cost-based businesses. We are never going to be the cheapest. We are always going to have a premium product. We talked about this last night on Patreon, but we are always going to give you more in a different way than other people will give you. I mean, Seymour Duncan's not sitting here and having this conversation with you. Lawler is not. They have a completely different way of doing business. And this is how we do business. We meet you, we hang out with you, we hang out with you twice a week live. We do the Patreon thing, and we share things about us other than guitars so that we get to know you and you get to know us. And I feel very strongly about that. That's something I'll never change. If you don't like some of the stuff we post, I know a lot of people are, like, again, from countries who don't have firearms, who don't have knives, who don't have some of the other stuff that I'm interested in. Just scroll past that stuff. If you're not interested in it, I understand. I do get it. But my motivation is to not preach anything. My motivation is to not, you never hear me talking about, any political cause based on firearms or based on weapons or based on anything. You never hear me talking about any of that stuff. I do not wish to make anybody else feel differently. I do not anything. I just am sharing with you the things that I enjoy. And so I really want you to know that that's why. You know, so no, I will not change that, but I want you to understand that. Okay, so let's see. We're getting close to somebody says, "What's with all the talking? Why do you talk so much?" Well, that's because that's what we do here. Okay, and then let me run over to YouTube and get these ones on YouTube because I have. Let's see. Here we go. And actually, before we go to YouTube, let me just run through some of the comments of the folks that are making comments today. I'm going to go all the way back to the beginning. I don't think you're a jerk, but when watching Phil's live cast, I was wondering if he interacts with a totally different guitar people that is not as bad, or if Dylan just likes talking the negative. No, I hate talking about negative stuff. I really do. But I think for me, it's not even necessarily the talking about the negative stuff as much as it is. I just want to be real. I just want you to know that this is it. Me sitting at a desk with a microphone is it. This is what you get. I'm not. I just want to be real. And I hope, and very genuine about this. And I hope that is what you get from it. Because guitar stuff is fun, man. It should be fun. I am okay. Cool. Well, let's go through some of these ones that came on YouTube, because I think they are awesome too. And I really appreciate. I'm not kidding. This is really cool. It's really cool. Let's see. A man who has never had a fight with his wife is a better man than me. We have never had a fight. We do not fight. We do not argue. We do not fight. That's just not our jam. Let's see. Okay. At times, this is something that Leslie gets on to me for too. So I'm really taking this to heart. At times, however, there are little comments like, "I don't care what you think." This can come across as arrogant in some videos. Yes, I say that. And I should not say that. It is a bad habit. I'll tell you why I say it. If I say I don't care what you think, it's because I do not have what you say or what you think has no bearing on me. So you can say whatever you want and it just bounces off. That is not, I don't mean it in a condescending way. I just mean it does not bother me. It does not bother me is probably more accurate. And this is a habit I am trying to break. This is something that I say as almost a habit, and I promise you I will try to not say this anymore. Leslie says it too. She's like, "You need to stop saying that." And I'm like, "Yes, you're right." And this is a habit. And I am sorry about this. And if you've ever taken me wrong, no lie, genuine apology here. I say that I always say what I mean, and I do. But when I say this, I can understand why it gets taken wrong. And so I will do what I can to not say this anymore. This is something I really want to change about myself. And I appreciate that you brought this up because it's a thing. This is a real thing. So the whole "I don't care what you think" is because I don't, I just let things bounce off of me. But the way it sounds is not accurate. And I like to be accurate. When I say something, I want it to be what I mean. And this is the one thing that I do. Bad habit. So thank you thank you for bringing this up. I really appreciate this. There have been some views expressed justifying the cost of high-end equipment and almost denigrating more affordable options. Okay, so let's talk real quick about the cheap guitar versus expensive guitar thing, because Harley Benton comes into this and a whole bunch of other things. I love cheap guitars. As you may or may not know, if everybody on Patreon knows, I'm about to buy a Squier Mustang. I buy a lot of cheap guitars for projects on the channel, and I love them. And actually, I never say anything bad about them usually, unless they're really terrible. We've said some terrible things about some Glaries. That Colos plastic neck thing was terrible, but 99% of the inexpensive instruments that we have on this channel are fantastic, and I love them, and I love modding on them, and I really, really enjoy them. I genuinely enjoy them. The irritation for me comes in only a couple of places. One is where people okay, well, I'm just going to say it. These inexpensive guitars that we're talking about most of the time are objectively, when you put them up, stack them next to each other, spec for spec, with their premium versions. So a Squier Sonic Telecaster versus a American Vintage 2 Telecaster. The guitar's not as good. It isn't. That is not an opinion. Is it good enough for you? Yes, it might be. Is it a good choice for you? Yes, because every guitar is made for every price point is made for a particular type of player. That's why they exist. And so understanding where that is and who that guitar is best for is what we do here on the channel. So if we compare an expensive guitar and a cheap guitar, it is not to say that a guitar that you are a cheap person. Well, we'll get to cheap people in a minute because that freaking drives me nuts. But it's not to say that the guitar is better or worse because, as in, it's a piece of crap and you shouldn't play it. But objectively, the materials, fret wire, we could go through this for hours. I've done it many times. In a Squier Sonic or a Mexican Tele or whatever is not as good as the more expensive counterpart. They just aren't. It's the way the guitar is made. It's where the materials come from. It's the quality of the materials, all of those things. Now, does that mean, and I'm not talking about good enough for you, I'm talking about the higher spec guitar is just that. It is a higher spec guitar. End of story. That is not arguable. Now, is it good enough for you? A $200 guitar is good enough for, honestly, anybody. We all could play $200 guitars and we'd probably be totally fine. The difference is that when you pay for something more expensive, there's a few things that come with that. One is that there are features on the more expensive guitars that I personally enjoy. The finish on a Gibson Les Paul, I really enjoy, and it feels better to me than an Epiphone. Now, is that worth it to you to spend the extra money? It may not be, but it is to me. There are certain aspects of some of the more expensive guitars that I really, really, really care about and I really, really like. But that doesn't denigrate anybody. It just means you like something different. And that is really 100% where I stand on this. I love all of it, but I like expensive guitars more. And so let's talk about cheap people, because I have said some pretty abrasive things about cheap people, and I will continue to, and here's why. If you are a price shopper to the point that all you care about is getting the cheapest thing, then just go buy the cheapest thing. That's okay. And tell me why you like the cheapest thing. You do not have to spend any time Don't waste your time telling me how it's just as good as a Les Paul, because it's not. Okay? It's just not. So don't spend your time on that. Spend your time on why you like it. I want to know why you like it. Do you like modding it? Do you like the fact that you have 17 of them? Do you like, I don't know. I don't know why. And I want to know. I genuinely want to know. So I'm not denigrating anybody. Just do not spend any time trying to convince me that your guitar is as good as a more expensive guitar, because it's not. Just tell me why you like it, and I'll tell you why I like mine. And if I tell you why I like my guitar and it is more expensive, I'm not bragging about it. I'm just telling you why I like it. I like nitrocellulose finishes on Gibsons. I don't like Epiphones because they feel like plastic. That is no lie one of the main reasons why I like Gibson guitars. Can you get the same pickups? Yeah, you can do all the whatever. I don't care about pickups, obviously, because I can make my own, so it doesn't matter. I can make any electronic change I want to the guitar. I can make it sound however I want because that's my job. That's what I do. So that doesn't matter to me. What matters to me is nitrocellulose finish, nibs over the fret ends, and some very only Gibson things that only Gibson does that I really enjoy. That's why I like them. And does that make an Epiphone worse for somebody else? No. In fact, I'm going to go buy an Epiphone. Well, I have one on order right now. I think it's awesome. So people take too many things too seriously and don't look at the nuance of a conversation. Pay attention to what I say, and I will not be saying negative things. Now let's bring up the Harley Benton thing. There are certain brands, okay? There are certain brands that this is my opinion. I'm just going to give you my opinion. There are certain brands that the only reason they exist is to be cheap. And what happens is the audience that goes along with those brands a lot of times is a very difficult audience, and I do not personally identify with it as much. That being said, there are many folks, because we get emails and chats all the time from folks who buy Harley Benton guitars and then buy our products and put them in them. And I think that's great because they like to upgrade them, but they understand the value of a premium product. So there are people that understand the value of a premium product. So they spend $300 on a set of pickups and put it in a $200 guitar because they're enjoying it and they enjoy the premium product that we make. I get that. That's totally cool. What bothers me sometimes is because that brand a lot of times, many times, attracts folks who are just cheap to be cheap, and then try to argue with you and tell you why your Gibson is not as good, or blah, 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 blah. And I'm just like, can't you just see both sides of the coin? I mean, I can see both sides of the coin, but you're annoying me. And so now we can't have a conversation that means anything. You know what I mean? So just be able to have an intelligent conversation. I think it's really cool. Let's see. I like the smartass delivery. Okay, this is a big one. I think a huge point of contention with viewers is that probably the fact that you straddle the line between overconfidence and arrogance. Okay, this is great. I love this. Let me bring up, hang on. We're going to look at our definitions again because words matter. Oh, crap. I didn't write this one down. Hang on. I got it right here. All right. Hang on. An attitude of superiority, which is pretty simple, right? I try to make it pretty clear on this channel that I'm just a guy with a camera. And the only difference between me and you is 1,300 videos. Does that give me some experience with some stuff? Yeah, absolutely. But I don't see it like that. I see this as an interactive community. I'm not better than anybody. Come over here. You're going to be a better guitar player than me. I'm not that great. But that's not my focus. My focus is on the things that I know. I will say we make the best P90s in the world. If you want to call me arrogant about that, you can. That's totally fine. I'm owning it because we do. And it's kind of a joke, but kind of not, because we do. But as far as all the other things go, I think what happens is I am very confident in what I know, and I'm very confident in some of the processes that we use to get to the conclusions that we get to. Um, and I'm also very confident in my opinions. I have an opinion, but I can also explain to you. I could give you a 1,000-word essay on every opinion that I have. This is something that we have drilled into our children. If you come to me and tell me that you think something, I'm going to ask you, where did you learn it? Why do you think that? And be able to back it up. Some kid at school told me is not the answer. If you believe it and own it. If you don't, come back and try again. And so there might be a little of arrogance in that process but it's not arrogance really. It's just, we teach our kids that way. If my daughter comes in here right now and tells me, oh, this blah, 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 this is how I feel about it. And I'm like, how long have you felt that way? Since yesterday. Well, where did that come from? Well, I was reading a book. Well, blah, blah, blah. Okay, well, did you think about these 3 or 4 other things? I'm not trying to make you think any different, but just think this through. It's not arrogance. It's a value that I value as a human being, to make sure that I am trying my best to do what I know how to do. Iced coffee rules. It really does rule. Right. This is fun. I'm glad that have been able to share this with y'all. I think it's great, man. Let's see. Hang on. There's a couple more in here, and then we'll go back in the comments. You seem to conflate the guitar nerds with the haters. I think we addressed that pretty well last week. You know, somebody in the it was not even me. It was somebody in the chat, and they were saying, talking about the difference between, nerding out about something and actually being an enthusiast. And that really affected me. I was like, I love this. And I was actually writing in my journal the other day. I was like, this is how I want to approach the channel. I am an enthusiast. I love stuff. I love everything. I actually don't hate anything. I can't tell you anything that I really hate, except for I don't even really hate hateful people. I mean, I see them and I keep them over there, but I don't really hate anything. I love everything, and I really love exploring. I love learning about everything. That's what gets me all neck deep in all these friggin' rabbit holes of hobbies and stuff. That's why I have a bunch of fountain pens over here, and I have a mountain bike right there, and I have I just have all this stuff because it's not because I want to have it. And it's not even because I even care about piling up a bunch of stuff. Believe me, we're moving. I wish I had less stuff. But I just want to learn about everything. I want to learn everything about everything. And so I really appreciate that sort of thing. Okay, let's see. It's been a pleasure viewing your content, blah, 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 blah. I'll say 2 things. You have a wonderful head of hair for your age, so lose the caps. People said a lot about my hats. I will never stop wearing my hats. I'm a big hat guy, big time. But thank you about the hair. I am proud of my hair. I do like it a lot. Second, being a business owner, you tend to come across as a corporate apologist. Sure, Fender and Gibson may have reasons for doing what they do, but there are valid reasons some consumers hate on the big brands, especially when they do something pompous or hypocritical. And then another person said, I think you can be a little bit snobby sometimes. And then another person said that that I'm too hung up on why we are wrong about current pricing trends. So I'm going to lump all these together. I am a business person. I've been a business person since I was 17 years old. And I really understand business. I really understand cost structures. I really understand project management. I really understand product development. It's something that I've been doing since I was a young kid. And I have never, again, I don't want to sound arrogant about this, but just to educate you on who I am, I've never failed at it. Every business that I've ever owned, except for one, I was an insurance agent for 3 years, and it didn't fail. I just hated it, so I stopped. Everything else, I've always succeeded at. I love project management and I love product development, and I really understand it. It's like something that I think about all the time. You know, if this knife is $190, it takes me about, which it takes me about 5 minutes to sit here and think about how much each of these parts cost and where all the profit margin is and what the profit margin should be, and et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. So I am obsessed, actually, with the cost of things, not because I care about how much it costs, but I want to understand how the business is run. That helps me run my business. And so if I tell you that a $3,200 Gibson Les Paul should cost $3,200, it's because I understand how the business works. I'm not telling you to think differently. I'm not telling you that you should suddenly feel like, oh, well, then I need to feel differently about that. You can think it's too expensive. That's totally fine. Go buy an Epiphone. That's what they're for. They're for people that think that they don't need or are not willing to spend the money on a Gibson. That's what the product is for. It's totally cool. But a Gibson Les Paul should cost $3,000, and then $3,200 for like for a Slash or something with an endorsement deal on it. Tellies should cost what they cost. This stuff should cost what it costs, and there's a reason. And once you really dive into those things, it makes sense. And once you understand how the marketing works for some of these companies, I'm not a corporate apologist, although I will tell you, I have no problem with Jeff Bezos. I have no problem with Elon. Well, I'm not saying I have no problem. I have no problem with those people making money. They got up earlier and they stayed up later than I did a lot of times in a row. And that is why they made money. And I want to do it too. I mean, I'm not going to step on anybody's toes, or I'm not going to run over anybody. Maybe they did. I don't know. I don't know their story. I'm not going to do that. My principal way of doing that is to hang out with you every week. But I want to make the money. I have a responsibility to my family and to my kids and to my wife to be able to support them. You know, I'm going to have both of my kids working for me. My daughter-in-law, like I have a tribe to support here. And I'm very, very passionate about that. And I really want to learn those things. And so understanding all of how business works and spending a lot of time, I spend a lot of time researching it and reading and learning from people that make way more money than me, how to do this stuff and what it means. And so I'm not a corporate apologist at all. But I am a person who studies business, and I don't always get it right, but I never get it wrong. I get it right enough to continue to survive and then continue to learn and hopefully continue to build. It's really important to me, and I really enjoy it. This is my 9th business, actually. I went through a whole thing for probably about 15 years where I'd build it up for a couple of years and then sell it, build it up for a couple of years and then sell it, build it up for a couple of years and then sell it. And then I got to the point where I was like, you know what? I want my own. My name is on this. Dylan, this is my name. The signature that you see on everything, that's how I write my name. That is my name. Literally is my name. And so my name is on it. I want to be good at it. And it's very important to me. Personally, it's very important to me. Let's see. Get back to explaining what others don't. Clearly, you have an engineering mind. I do. And can explain those topics like no other. None of the big pickup manufacturers do anything of this sort. How about creative uses of resistors and circuits? How about blah, blah, blah? all the super technical stuff. Honestly, I'm bored of it. I'm bored of it. I love talking about guitar stuff. I love showing you all the stuff that we're doing. Um, I love, honestly, I love these little impromptu around the shop videos that we've been doing, and we're going to do more of them. But if you came here to learn how a capacitor works, we have 1,300 videos and it contains that. Some folks were like, I really liked your early videos, but now you're just kind of off on a tangent. And I'm like, yeah, because I'm kind of tired of it. What is there, 36 parts in an electric guitar? That's like barely as many as in a Glock. How many times can you talk about it over and over and over and over and over and over again? Like, I'm just kind of over that. And so just enjoying the hobby, being an enthusiast is what is fun to me. Whoever said that last week, I'm not kidding you, it completely changed everything. And I absolutely love that. So anyway, super fun stuff. You guys, this is super fun. I'm glad that was the last one. I'm really glad to be able to share this stuff with you and to talk about it a lot. Let's see. Yeah, and to be honest with you, this is another thing I would just say. Guitar players are way too hung up on what stuff should cost. Way too much. It's the only community that I'm a part of. Now, I'm a part of some pretty bougie stuff because I just like it. And I will tell you, nobody in the fountain pen community is dogging on somebody because they want to spend $780 on a Visconti Homo sapiens Bronze Age by saying that their, $40 Jin Hao is just as good. Nobody's doing that. And everybody's like, in these other communities are like, oh, well, I think that's cool. I'm glad you have that. Can I write with it? Sure. Nobody in the comments in guitar land is like, well, I've never played one. I'd like to play one. They just talk trash about each other. And I don't like that. In the knife community, it's the same thing. People will say, well, I'll never spend $600 on a Chris Reeve Sabenza. Okay. And that's the end of the conversation. Well, what do you have? Well, I have a Benchmade bug out. Ooh, I have one of those too. That's really cool. End of story. Like, that's it. There's no conversation. That's it. We both just like stuff. And that's the end of the conversation. So I'm not really sure why guitar players can't do that. I'm not really sure. It's kind of a funny thing. Gibson's coming off hypocritical recently when they try to break smaller companies' trademarks. A lot of people make a big deal about the trademark thing. And to tell you the truth, I 100% believe in defending my I 100% believe in defending my intellectual property. And you better believe that if you steal an idea from me, or I think you stole an idea from me, I am coming after you. Let's see. Best do-it-yourself guitar maker, kit maker. I'm not a big kit guy. I haven't found. I tell you, if you really want a kit, talk to Dan at Guns and Guitars. He tries a lot of them. I've tried a few and I've never had good success. So if I was going to build a kind of a parts caster, a kit sort of thing, I would just use Warmoth parts and you would get really good results with them. And buy all your parts, not all your parts, but at least buy your neck and your bridge, your neck and your body and your pick guard from them. And then buy everything else everywhere else. But that's what I would do. I'm just not a big kit person. I've tried them, and honestly, to tell you the truth, I just threw a Telecaster body in the trash yesterday, and a neck, because it was, I'm moving and I painted it up. In fact, some of you Patreon folks may remember, I tried to build this Telecaster kit body and we painted it. We did all kind of work on it, got it almost there, and then stuff didn't fit together. The scale length that was a fretwire kit, I think. The scale length was wrong. The bridge holes were in the wrong place. And I was just like, this sucks. So I just threw it away yesterday. Yeah. So I'm not a big kit guy. I think there's a lot of just as good as in the watch community. I'm not sure what it is with things that have both super high end, expensive versions of the same thing that feeds that. You know what I think it is? I think it's just things are... everybody feels a different level of importance about what's important about something. The folks that say, for example, that you're just buying a name with Gibson. Okay, that's fine. I want that. I want that legacy. I want to be a part of that. So yes, that is part of what I'm paying for. It's not the whole thing, but it's part of what I'm paying for. I'm totally fine with that. People will say that I have a, people will say I have a Mont Blanc ballpoint right here. And people will say this pen is just, it's all hype and it's not worth what it costs and whatever. And you're just buying part of the name. Yeah. Yeah, probably. It's legendary. Absolutely legendary. And I want that. I want part of that legend. Part of that mystique. I think that's I want it. I want part of that mystique that comes with that. That's what knives and pens are not using anchoring practices. What does that mean? I'm going to plead ignorance on that term for the moment until I look it up. It's probably something I've heard of before and something let's see. What does this mean? No, that's a boat. Oh, yeah. Establishing an association between an external cue or stimulus and an internal experience or state. So I disagree. I disagree with you on that. I believe that pens and knives both are extremely anchoring. And I'll tell you why. Because this has been life-changing for me. The act of sitting down every night and writing in a journal with a fountain pen has completely changed my approach to life. I cannot tell you how much difference it has made to structure my thoughts and to empty my mind. I sleep better. Somebody mentioned earlier that I'm a mechanical engineer at heart, right? And so I can't stop my brain. I can't stop it. I am thinking about cost of goods sold and why Gibson bridges cost what they cost, and how can I use this marketing strategy from some other business that I saw at 3:00 in the morning, and I cannot sleep. I mean, my brain is constantly going with this stuff. Anchoring. Oh, actually, this is a sailor. It has an anchor on it. Literally writing those things out, getting those thoughts out of my head, absolutely is an anchoring practice. 100%. And I absolutely love it. And it's the value and the experience of writing that does that for me. Now, on the knife side, it's the exact same thing, only different. It's the sharpening. I will literally sit and watch a movie at night and sharpen a knife. I'll do it for my friends. I'll bring it over. Yeah, I'll sharpen it. And it's just a zen thing for me, man. Same thing with cleaning. Like, I go to the range every week, a couple times a week. I usually go twice a week, and I'll usually shoot, I don't know, 300 to 400 rounds a week. And I will come home and I will clean everything. And it's just like a centering thing for me and then I can come back in here and I can work. No, absolutely. I love that. Can you tell me why Gibson bridges cost what they cost? A Clusen made in the same factory is a third the price because they're not made in the same factory. Clusen's made in Korea, and Gibson stuff is not. Remember, Dylan is a business owner. He will default to thinking capitalism is okay. Yeah, you must not be from around here, is all I'm going to say. Yeah, I don't, yeah, I mean, we don't need to go down that road, really. And yeah, to tell you the truth, I need to make stuff and I need to sell it. You know why? So I can eat food, and so I can have electricity, and so I can support my family, and so that my kids can eat, and so that my newly married son and daughter-in-law have some work to get their lives going. So if you call that capitalism, that's fine. I don't care. You can call it what you want. No big deal. You guys, this has been awesome. I have to go because I have a thing I have to be at. But I really appreciate everybody coming and hanging out and hopefully getting to know what we do around here. I would really encourage you to come to the Thursday night live streams and hang out for the after hours thing. And if you're a Patreon member, if you're not, come and hang out for the live things that we do once a month on Zoom, where we can see our faces, each other's faces, and talk and chat and stuff. Last night was really fun. I really enjoyed it. And we do the same thing every week. Clusen USA stuff is made in the same factory as the Gibson stuff. Yeah, in Nashville, Tennessee, except the hardware itself comes from two different places. It's chromed at Advanced Plating and nickel plated at Advanced Plating in Nashville, Tennessee. My friend Steve owns that company. I've known him for a long time and I've been there and toured it a bunch of times. So yeah. Well, you guys, this has been great. I am going to go. Thanks for hanging out, and we will see you in the next video on Thursday live stream. And I don't know where that live stream is going to originate, here or the new place. I'm not really sure. We'll see you then.